we've had almost 10 parishioners die, but they weren't from coronavirus. It just was, although it might have been. Sometimes I wonder those who died in the nursing homes, but not directly anyway, or not diagnosed.
Most of the 10 were from nursing homes?
I would say about 6 of them.
6 from nursing homes.
Yeah. Other long time, well, you mentioned Dominic and Connie Keene. Helen St. John was someone who was she had been in a nursing home for a long time. She was almost 102. So.
Oh, wow.
God bless her.
Yeah, she lived a long life. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, how about some news, Father? How about what's going on your end?
Well, as you know, we're still doing masses just privately. Some of you may have read SI Live, if you went on SI Live today.
Yes.
There was an article about the church's opening for tomorrow. It was a bit misleading.
What's up?
And I think that was partly the governor's fault, actually. I watched his briefing. I watched that section.
Just go into the email and click on the link.
And it was a bit misleading because he said the churches would open in the video, the graphic he put up there said by Thursday the church would open. That's not the case. But there's an interfaith council statewide, but also diocesan-wide. People are working on opening the churches again. I just before I signed on, I just got an email from our Vicar General, Monsignor Lamort, giving us some guidelines. Nothing that specific and not a timeline, but the idea of keeping the churches marked, people separated, cleaned. I have to go through it. I really just got it. I just opened it. When that will happen, that hasn't been told yet. And apparently, there'll be phases to this as well, whereas we can allow baptisms, perhaps small baptisms first, very small weddings first, before we are allowed like Sunday Mass. Again, I wish I could tell you the time. A lot of people are asking me, and I just don't have that time.
Are you going to have to buy hand sanitizers to put in the entrance?
We've ordered them. We haven't gotten them yet. Like a stand, one of those stands that you put in the vestibule of a building or a foyer. And we'll also find places, and I would be open for suggestions to find places where to put them around the church. We'll have to seat people separately, every other pew. I will need help with ushers, and probably more volunteers to help with that for each Mass as people come in. I haven't thought it all through in terms of suggestions, but I'm open for suggestions about Masses. Would we want to have duplication of Masses, one in each church at the same time, so more people can come? I'm open to that. It would be a bit, I don't know if there's going to be a number in terms of how many people we're allowed, but in terms of our church, St. Christopher's has 34 pews. We can use 17 of them. And you figure 6 feet apart, you can fit about 4 individuals in a pew.
So by doing the Mass same time at both churches, do you have enough priests?
No. So, I mean, we'd be doing a double duty. Whether we duplicate every time, we probably wouldn't need to do that. But maybe like having 2 Masses, duplicated, so to speak, or doubled the time. Maybe.
What about outdoor?
I thought of that. The thing with outdoors, the parking lot, you could, in both parking lots, you could space people out. I'm just afraid of wind, rain, things blowing around the altar. Now, you could keep people standing in the vestibule. You could have people standing along the walls or along the back wall, spaced. We could do that as well. Maybe even put a couple of people over by the baptismal font. That's a possibility also.
So did they say anything like, if you come with a family, right? Do you still have to space between each person? Or could
families can sit together, or couples and families can sit together.
Mm-hmm. But so that makes it a little better.
You may not be able to have as many people in the rest of the pew. Right. So let's say you have 4 people at the end of a pew. You couldn't have 3 others, let's say. You might have to only have 1 other person or 1 other couple in that pew. They did give us a couple of schemas, graphs, so to speak. I have to look at that too. But I'm open for that kind of suggestion in terms of what you think, and you may want to come into the church to give it a look. St. Margaret Mary's is laid out very similarly. The pews aren't as long, so there might be a little bit more restriction in terms of the number of people in the pews. But in St. Margaret Mary's, the pews, there's like a divider in each pew, as it is, the way they're built. So
I like the idea of having the mass both at the same time.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to have necessarily music at both, or this, but it's something that we could probably work out. I'm very. Go ahead.
Would it be possible maybe to in one of the churches have a video of the mass going on in one church?
It's possible.
You don't have enough priests.
That's a possibility, Frank. If we both couldn't be in that place, because one of us would also have to help with communion. I'm sure, like the use of Eucharistic ministers might have to be somewhat vetted to make sure that they're able to do it and willing. So normally there would be two of us giving out communion. So that's an idea to have a video in the other space.
Now, what are the rules for communion? Because that's actual contact.
Right. So again, I'm going to look through it, but what I'm hearing is communion can be received in the hand and on the tongue. Now, I want to see what specific directives are for the tongue. Generally speaking, we don't touch the tongue as we give communion, but to make people at ease, we might have to sanitize our hands right after we do that, immediately, before the next person receives
have to wear a glove?
I'm not crazy about gloves myself, but I'm not sure they'll be mandated, because the problem with gloves is if particles get on the glove.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't. That doesn't help.
We can't just throw those gloves away.
Right.
I think in terms of, there's a couple of different ways. Some people are saying you should have people stretch their hands as far as they will go, their arms, and then place the host in the hand. And then on the tongue, it doesn't look like we're being restricted. Some dioceses are telling their priests not to give on the tongue. I don't like that idea. I like to be able to give on the tongue, and I don't want to restrict people for that, but it may mean an immediate sanitizing. In terms of lining up for communion, we may have to, I wouldn't mark the floors, but we may have to space people out, stand 2 pews behind the person in front of you before you come up.
Right.
Or another option is, because there's empty pews in between everybody, we would just go to you directly. We would go right to your seat. I'm not sure which would work best. We, of course, would sanitize our hands before we started, and if during, and then, of course, afterwards. People in the pews would, I think, have to wear masks. I don't know if we have to wear masks for the whole mass, priest, I mean, but for communion, we would probably have to wear masks.
Good boy, Steve.
A thought about having so many people. You can't have so many people in church. Maybe we can use the community center too, and put chairs, strategic the chairs, so they're away from one another, and they can have video right into there too, so you pick up more parishioners. That's
true. That's an idea too. I don't know, and it's hard to tell. You guys might have an idea in terms of your own families and yourselves. Who's going to come? Will a lot of people stay at home? Will most people come? Will most people, I don't know.
My wife said that to me tonight.
Still frightened.
My wife said to me tonight at dinner, she goes, well, who's going to come to Mass anyway? And I'm like, are you kidding? People are itching to come to Mass. There's going to be hundreds of people that want to go to Mass.
I think the first Mass that is open is going to be extra crowded. I think.
Yes.
I go to Mass every Sunday, St. Agnes, Rockefeller Center.
Really?
On the computer.
The good thing is, and I guess, this is why the diocese is moving slowly, and especially for us on Staten Island, we all have to start at the same time. Because if, let's say, we open this Sunday and not everyone else is open, everyone will start coming to us, and we'd have to turn people away.
Right.
So
Right.
When that date is, I'd love to be able to do even baptisms now. I don't think we have to restrict. I mean, I think if that can be done easily, baptisms, because they're small, very controlled group anyway.
What about the funerals?
Funerals can be, and that might be, I don't know where that falls yet. it could be very small. If a family is willing to have under 10 people, we could probably do it sooner than later.
They have to have 10 people now because a friend of mine just passed and the viewing was only for a couple of hours and only 10 people. And the burial, you could only have 10 people. So if anybody wanted to go, they had to go stand on the outside in the street watching.
Yeah, I've done
It's 10 people.
I've done a number of burials, both not only for our own parishioners, but the funeral homes sometimes, excuse me, are reaching out to the priest to help with burials. So I have a couple of burials on Friday, who are not parishioners. But to be honest with you, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's people standing on the sidewalk outside, that kind of thing. Yeah, it depends on the funeral director. And some of them are having small viewing actually before they go to the burial.
Yeah.
Maybe an hour's worth of viewing. I know at Dominic they did that at Hanley. And
Father,
kind of
did Fran Gervasi, is she planning something in the future?
She
when
will,
this
but
is-
I think she's waiting to know when we can
Okay.
make it available. We haven't
Good,
planned
good.
any of those masses yet.
Okay.
Because a number of those people, as I mentioned, were not only longtime parishioners, some of them were daily mass goers.
Right.
And so I know they would want a mass. So as soon as we know that we can tell them a mass, they're going to schedule it.
Mhm.
I can't.
Is there any way to get a mass card if we wanted it for?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that, Frank.
We wanted to send some to Dominic, but at the Fran because the office was closed.
I know you may not be getting the bulletin either, but if we do print the bulletins in the church and online, there's under the mass intentions, I'll get the number for you in a second. In the mass intentions at the bottom, we're saying just what you said. The office is not really accepting people to come in, but if you want, you can call Bob Dennis, who has the mass schedule book. He has it, so he knows what's available and what's not. And he'll mail the mass card out for you if you just tell them the name.
Oh, that's good.
So before we finish, I'll give you his number, okay?
Let me give this, okay.
So how's our finances doing?
They're better. I'm very grateful for people dropping off in the slot or mailing in their envelopes. About 13 more households signed up for WeShare within the last month, which is a lot because we only have about 30 people on WeShare to begin with. Now, whether they stay on it permanently or they get off it once we start coming back to Mass, I don't know.
Father,
But I'm
what's
very grateful.
WeShare? What is
WeShare
WeShare?
is an online giving. If you go to the parish website, you can click on an electronic giving. It's called WeShare.
Now, I do mine by Parish Pay. Is that not good?
That switched over. It's called WeShare now.
Oh, it's
So
all the
you've
same
already-
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's how I do
It
mine.
used to be called Parish Pay.
Mhm.
Now it's called WeShare. And we're still, it's better. We're still about $1,000 less than we would be normally every week.
I noticed that, yeah.
We were able to apply for that loan that the government was giving, and we did receive it, which helps for an 8-week period from the time we got it. We got ours in April 22nd, so we have to spend it by June 22nd to pay for payroll. 75% of it has to be for payroll, at least 75%. And then the remaining percentage can be used on utilities.
Mhm.
That's it. We can't pay anything else with it, but that's a great help.
Okay.
We got about $75,000 from that loan. And I say loan, but it goes away as long as we can document how we've spent it.
So you don't have to pay it back.
No, unless we abuse it or make it, but we're very careful. Laura Kimmons, our accountant, is being very careful about telling us what we can pay and not pay, and we're checking with her each time we.
Not that we have a large staff, but we didn't have to lay anyone off at St. Christopher, right?
No, I had a couple of mixed
Very cool.
signals with that. Initially, I was told in order for this grant to come, loan, whatever, to come through, we couldn't fire anybody. Not that I was looking to do that, but I also did not do that. So people are not all coming in, but we didn't fire any or furlough anyone. No.
Good.
Is anyone collecting unemployment?
No.
Okay.
How was Pryor, Father?
He's good. He's back.
good.
Yeah.
Because he had the virus, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and he's good.
Yeah.
Good.
He had to be hospitalized. He had double pneumonia.
Oh wow. Wow.
He didn't go on a ventilator, but he was in bad shape for a few days there.
Right.
Yeah.
and he's doing much better.
Any word on Father Brendan? Brendan's doing good too?
Yeah, he's doing well too.
Good.
There's been a lot of hardship at St. Clair's with Monsignor
Yeah.
Richard, and now Monsignor Murphy died, who was their pastor before.
That was
Oh, wow.
crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, Monsignor Murphy has been failing also, but he did develop the COVID-19 about a month ago and died. I guess it was Saturday maybe. But Father Brendan himself is doing better and holding the fort, Yeah, I talked to him. It's been about 10 days since I last talked to him, but he was doing better.
Good.
Much better.
Father, do you have to disinfect the church?
Do we have it in the church?
Excuse me?
I didn't hear you, Frank.
Disinfect the church, the pews where everybody puts their hands on for years,
Yes.
Does that have to be done before you open up the church?
Yeah, we do it regularly now, pretty much every day, because people do visit the church. And then we're also going to have to do it in between each Mass. We have a spray that, you spray and wipe down each of the pews, especially the railings of the pews where people might touch, like you said. So that gets done every evening, but it's going to have to get done after every Mass now too, when we open.
Who does that work?
Well, Pry's doing it now, and Todd does it for St. Margaret Mary's, although we don't have that open every day. But eventually, we may need volunteers for that in between Masses also, when that time comes.
Hey, Gene, how you doing?
Teeny.
I was trying to connect the audio.
Anybody else have anything?
When
We're not gonna have to-
When Joe Robato joined, I thought he was Father
He's gonna get-
Ramon.
Yeah, he looks good with that beard.
Belated happy birthday.
Yeah, to
to
see when I
Father
had the
Joe.
hair. I shaved the head. I had a big head of hair too.
Belated happy birthday to Father Joe.
Oh, thank you.
That's right. Happy birthday. That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right. He's a May 17th guy. That's right.
That's right. Happy
That's
birthday,
right.
Steve.
Oh, May
Happy birthday,
17th.
Steve.
All right, let me get that in my calendar here. Wait.
Yeah, I know. I noticed you
You guys
forgot.
both good for 39.
I did. I'm sorry.
Anybody have anything else?
No, that's all. Oh, I spoke to Conrad Schweitzer about the grotto over there.
Yeah.
So he said he doesn't have anybody working right now. A lot of the guys don't show up because technically he's not a.
Somebody go on mute.
Somebody's got to mute.
mandatory
Somebody's got to
place
mute.
work.
Who's got the kids talking?
Not me.
The closet.
It's not an essential service, so he doesn't have a
Yeah.
lot of people. So he only has his son going around. So he said he's going to spec something out, draw a couple of pictures, and he's going to give us an estimate as soon as
Okay.
things get picked up. So he actually stopped by to look at it, his son, and I went by to see if he had anything. He said he didn't have anything.
It's Gene. I keep putting him on mute.
Chris, how's your family? Good. Everybody else? Frank is good?
Yeah, they're doing good. Thanks, Jerry.
Everybody's good. All
Hope
right.
everybody else is as well.
Chris, how's school for you?
Every day is a new challenge,
Yeah.
Just when you think you've solved everything, and other problems arise. But you know what? Everyone's doing the best that they can. That's all we can really ask for.
Yeah.
Just so you
How
know,
is school doing, by the way?
I was just going to bring that up too. Yeah. They're doing all right. The teachers are Zooming the classrooms, perhaps not every day, but I've been on a couple of their Zoom classes here and there for certain grades.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, I think they're doing well. I just, it's not what they wanted. It's not ideal, but they also give out on their website, the school website, the class pages, they have homework assignments, and they're still doing tests and, all sorts of assignments and things like that.
So
You feel bad for the 8th grade. The 8th grade will still have a graduation of sorts. We're still working through that detail, but it may take place in the parking lot. And we won't have a mass for them. It doesn't look like we'll be ready for that then by June 12th, but we would like to gather them sometime in the future for a mass. But we will have some sort of ceremony on June 12th.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, Joe, thank you for the yearbooks. I think they're due in soon. They should be delivered here.
Yeah, I put that the school address. All right, June 12th. During the day, I guess, right? June
During the
12th?
day, usually, we've been doing it at 2:00. So I just got to confirm with Mrs. Fellabella that time, but that's where we're planning.
Sure.
Initially, we were going to follow a lead of St. Charles. I think St. Charles was doing a drive-by kind of thing where they would drive through the parking lot. But we might do something a little different where we actually have them stand in the parking spaces. You know, I don't know where they park. They'd have to park and walk into the parking lot.
Yeah.
But keep them separated like every other parking space. A family could go every other parking space, the parents and the graduate. And then I guess, I don't know how we give them the diploma yet. But the other thing I discovered not too long ago, if you ever need it for anything, we may during these days, I have a bullhorn.
Yeah,
So if you ever do find yourself in
we
need,
might need that for one of our meetings.
Yeah, maybe.
but it's in the back, one of the closets here in the smaller office. So we have it.
Good to know.
Are you ringing the bells? And
No, I'm not as good on the bells. I forget. On Sunday, I've been ringing the bells, but actually it's 7:00 now that you mention it. I've been ringing it on Sunday, but not every day.
It's nice to hear them like 9:00 in the morning and 6:00 at night, you know. It makes us remember the church is still here.
You know, Frank, one of the things that is also in need of repair, although we had someone gave us money aside to fix it, the bell tower, the bells work if you manually press them, but the timer is gone. And you can't fix it because, of course, it's such an old it's a digital system, but it's an older digital system. And of course, that company won't come out to fix it. They'll only replace it. So I can't have them out yet.
This is one of the things we
You can manually ring them.
This is one of our new assignments, hopefully.
Right. Well, we have money set aside that someone had given just for that. So we're good for
Time's
that.
up, Steve.
What was that?
I just got a message saying the time is up.
No, he extended it.
The message said it's been extended.
It's been extended. Yeah.
Because we're doing such a good job, Jerry.
Good, good.
Father Joe, I saw there were repairs to St. Margaret Mary's vestibule where the leak was.
Yes. In the how recently did you see that?
I saw it because of Facebook. There was also a memorial for Jane Nagel, a nurse.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Brian Nagel.
There was because the reason I asked, there was a couple of different leaks. There was one that was underneath the choir loft, of course, is right above the vestibule, and the air conditioning unit for the church is in the choir loft. So at one time there was a leak from that going through the floor of the choir loft into the vestibule, but that's been repaired. There's been also outside work in the brickwork in the bell tower, which also created leaks. Especially in the inside wall. If you go into the church to the right where St. Anthony is, that's been all repaired and the plastered and painted. So that, unfortunately, we've had some heavy rain since, and those leaks have stayed out. So it was partly the bell tower, partly the vestibule, but so far so good.
How's the renew and rebuild going?
Yeah, that's on hold. What I need now is, and now I think I can pursue it, is new estimates for the roof at St. Christopher's. So, and of course, with a project that size, I'll eventually have to have the diocese in, but I can get estimates before they come in. I just don't know if construction can do estimates. Are they doing estimates?
They do some. Depending on the company, they'll come in and do work as long as no one's near them and there's only one or two guys. You can't get a major job done because anything more than a certain amount of people, they don't want to bring all those people, especially if it's indoors.
Okay.
Outdoors, I'm pretty sure they'll just do it. I mean, if you look out on the street, they got road crews all over the place working in groups of 5 or 6.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Danny's still working. Danny's still doing work out there.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the roof obviously would be outside. There is some things to look at on the ceiling in St. Christopher's too, which would have, they'd have to look in there too, but I guess mostly it'd be an outdoor job.
Danny gave you an estimate, right?
Right, I'd have to have those updated, I think, at this point.
No. Why don't you call Danny and tell them to see if the guy will come in and update it for you?
Okay, yeah.
Now, they're not
Yes.
gonna have to rip the roof down. They're just gonna put a layer on top of that roof.
You know, I don't know how these things go, Frank. I wouldn't be surprised if they took it up. I think one of the estimates that Danny did get
You have
talked about.
to get to the wood
replacing
to replace the wood.
Yes. The inside, maybe, the wood on the inside, but I don't know if they just put shingles right down on the other shingles. I know they could, and I know we're allowed to do
The outside.
Yeah, the outside, they can just put a layer right on.
Yeah, what they'll do is they'll feel around and walk around on the roof. The pitch is bad. I don't know.
Wood they have to replace.
But if they see anything is soft, they'll cut that piece out, replace the whole.
That's what I thought. They cut it out and they put a new piece in. Yeah.
It's like rip it all down. That's a big.
No, not all of it.
That's a lot of money in itself just to do that. It's a lot cheaper if you're just going to replace the shingles.
Yeah, I just, the way things, I'm thinking that's what's going to have to happen. But I hope not. But it's
Is
possible.
this the roof for the church or the
Church.
school?
I'm
Church.
sorry, the church. Yeah.
And how about the school? Is there any?
There is a leak, although it's not regular now. It seems to be somewhat a little better. The gym, there's also leaks in the gym. Part of it was the wall, an exterior wall, water seeping through the cinder block. And then there's a leak or two, well, actually a couple of leaks on the far end of the gym. Doesn't always leak, doesn't always come through, but in a heavy wind-driven rain, it does.
Yeah.
So that I really, to be honest, we've had some people look, but no real serious estimate or no real serious evaluation has been done where the leak is coming.
And we're responsible for that roof too?
Yes.
Wow.
And all that
There's
work
an
would
issue-
be out of the money from Renew and Rebuild? Is there enough there, roughly, to cover that?
Probably not yet, because that we haven't gotten that. All people haven't fulfilled all their pledges with that yet. So, and because it wasn't one of the listed projects, I would wait before I would use that for the school gym. There is, so it may have to come from another source.
Is there enough in there to do the church?
Yes, just about. Yeah. Again, I don't know what it'll be, but yeah, there's probably about 80,000 in Renew and Rebuild right now.
Okay.
I'd have to look, but it's about that. That's hard money, I mean.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It's about 128,000. I'm sorry.
Anything else, guys?
The only thing I just want to find out, this guy's been multitasking through this entire meeting. What's for dinner, Bobby?
He's making chicken with mushrooms.
You got to unmute him.
He's making for the family. I like that.
Hey, I got to multitask.
I know, I see that.
Time, I'm cooking, baby.
You're doing a good job. I'm on. You're listening. You're right into the game. Getting things done. Your wife's gonna be
First you
happy.
say I'm not in the right camera position and all this. You guys are a pain in the neck.
But they
I
like
would
the
have said
turkey
something
chop.
else, but Father Joe's on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Love
know.
you,
Father,
Bobby.
don't forget to give me that telephone number before we leave.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Now I can't hear. I just muted myself. I don't know what did you guys make me do?
And you could send it in a
can
chat.
hear you.
Bobby.
I couldn't find his number, Father Joe, on the bulletin.
All right. Bob Dennis.
Yeah. I mean, I think I have it in my cell phone.
I'll give it. I mean, I don't know how to put it up there for you. I could say it if you want to write it down.
Hey, I'll write it down.
Okay. His name is Bob Dennis.
Yeah.
917
Okay.
859
Okay.
3390.
3390.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nine
And like I said,
And how do we get the money to him? I'll just
you
put
can
it
send a check.
and give it to you with my donation at the end of the month.
Yeah, you could do it that way. You can send it to us. Some people have been sending that to him, and he gives it to us. So, I mean,
While I'm around the corner, I'll just slip it under the door.
okay, that's fine. That's fine. And he'll even mail the card to whoever. They'll mail it to you. If you want to mail it directly to the family, then he'll mail it for you.
Okay, that's great.
There was another person.
Say a
another
prayer for
person
my
that did-
daughter and my granddaughter. They've been in the front lines ever since this started. They're nurses.
God bless him, Frank.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, God bless them. I've seen
Um, So, Father, did you know Marianne Weibel?
one.
Yes,
Because she
Marianne-
passed away.
she died as
Marianne-
well, Marianne.
Yeah, but not from COVID. It was just
No,
cancer.
she had cancer. Yeah.
Yeah, she was working with us on A Very Special Place.
Yes.
But
Yes.
she ended up passing away just in the beginning of all this. So that was
She
another
kind
tough
of
one.
she kind of deteriorated quickly.
Very quickly, yeah.
Yeah, because she was at the macaroni dinner,
Yes.
and then she died. She's a neighbor of Patrick's. Maybe a month ago. Maybe it's more than that now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was in March, I think it was, the end of
Her
March.
husband was trying to push her to go to the hospital. She was reluctant, and it had spread.
Sounds like Marianne.
When did Connie Keene, he just died natural causes or?
Yes. Yeah, he was at he was at Egger.
Oh.
But he had been failing. He had been failing really since the new year. He had been in and out of the hospital, and then was back in Egger, and then he died.
How old was Connie when he died?
90.
90?
He celebrated 90 last August, I think. His name.
Okay.
Good for him.
All right.
God bless him.
Yep.
He was a good man.
Yes, very much so.
That's it, Jerry. I think that's all we have right now.
Okay.
We should try and do this
Very
once a
good
month,
seeing all you
Jerry.
guys.
It was nice seeing you all.
Yes, it was nice seeing you guys.
Yes.
We'll see if we can do this once a month. That would be good.
Again, hopefully we can do it live next month.
Yeah.
I'm-
Hopefully, yeah.
I missed my egg sandwich.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, nothing to eat on Sundays.
That's right.
Yeah, it's Sunday.
We were just
I
sitting
try to
at a
get my
blank
wife.
table.
I try to get my wife to make me my breakfast. She won't do it.
She's sitting
I
behind you,
have to do
Frank.
it myself.
Frank, she's sitting behind you.
Behind you, Frank.
She's my backup in case this
He
goes
doesn't know
down.
the computer. I have to help him.
Yeah, I know. We saw that.
Thank you.
Frank, the next time you do it, Frank, you see the blinds behind you?
Yeah.
You
Close.
got to close the blinds.
Oh, we
No,
tried
it.
everything. We
Tried it.
with my
I think it-
family.
Yeah, there you go. Well, there you go. It just worked.
Actually, yeah, you
came out
just
of the
lightened
dark.
up a bit.
There
See?
it is. That's
No, it's perfect. I can see your face now.
Oh, but I see everything very dark here.
No, but we see you good.
I see you good. I see Father Joe good. I see Steve.
Yeah,
I
but they can't
but
see you good.
when I'm looking at myself, I
All right,
can't
you
see
don't need
myself.
me anymore, Frank.
Bye. Oh my God. I can't take any more of this house arrest.
Father, can you give us a blessing before
Yes.
you leave, please?
Of course. May Almighty God watch over you and protect you. May He guide you and give you strength. May He keep you in His care and bless you with His healing and with His peace. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Father.
Al's coming on.
Take care,
That's Al
guys.
Porto.
And
Is
it
that Al?
was nice seeing you.
Take
Good night,
All right,
care.
gentlemen.
guys.
Who just
Thank
came
you.
on?
you.
Razor blades out. Send it to you, Jerry. You and Joe.
I think it's
Have a
Al
good night,
Blood.
guys. Be
Oh,
safe.
no, who is that?
Who's
Al.
that? Just
That's
came
Al
on.
Porto.
Al Bloodgood.
No, it's Al Bloodgood.
Al Bloodgood. Oh, Al, you missed us, Al. He can probably hear us.
No, he's off.
He's gone.
No, Father Joe's
All
off.
right.
Al's still there.
He got off fast, Father Joe.
Yeah, enough of us. He did most of the talking.
All right, guys. Take
All right, we'll
care.
talk to you guys
All
later.
right, take care.
All
Frank.
right, bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Yes.
Stay safe and healthy.
You
You
too.
too.
All right, take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
What's that say?